Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
A North Dakota convenience store is asking for help identifying two men after surveillance video shows them breaking into the building, tying a tow rope around an ATM machine before yanking it through the store's window and driving off with it. It happened early Sunday morning at the City View Fuel gas station near Litchfield, North Dakota. Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley spoke with the store's manager in a story you'll only see here on Valley News Live.
Here comes the ATM.
It all happened in just 8 minutes.
Takes a lot of guts.
Two masked men pulling into the City View Fuel parking lot Sunday morning at 3:52 before smashing a store window and making their way inside.
It's a really sick feeling inside.
The two wrapped a tow rope and chain around the ATM before hopping back in the pickup to rip the machine off its foundation.
Well, there it goes.
And while Smith says they're not exactly sure how much the two walked away with, they estimate it was around $2,000.
We've had a tough year the way it is, and then all of a sudden they decide to do this, and whatever their motive was, it's like, seriously, get a real job.
Smith says they believe the men may have been scouting the store prior to the break-in, as it seems the men knew where the store's cameras were located and were able to keep their plate numbers hidden.
It's really sickening. I could not even sleep last night. I mean, my mind just goes and goes and goes.
She says she and her staff will be reviewing the footage to see if anyone recognizes the men from previous customer encounters.
So now everybody's minds are wandering like, oh, it could be this person or it could be that person.
Adding, while there is significant damage inside her store, Smith says she's just glad she and her staff are safe. In Litchfield, Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
The vehicle was a black or dark blue Toyota pickup. It's believed to be a 2010 model or newer. The thieves are described as white, about 6 feet tall. One is believed to be in his 30s, with the other possibly in his 50s. If you have any information, call the Lemoore County Sheriff's Office at 701-883-5720. Our winning ways continue in the weather. I can't remember such a lengthy and comfortable run of nice temps, no snow, sunny skies. Let's find out from Hutch what's in store for this Monday night. Hutch?
Mike, thanks so much. I hope you got a chance to get out on this Monday and enjoy those marvelous temperatures. We're cooling off a little bit here in the Fargo-Moorhead area, Grand Forks as well, down toward near 30. It's been in the upper 20s all day long in central Minnesota. A cool day with low clouds and some fog lingering there. You can see it's not moving anywhere too quickly, and we have some clouds moving in from the north and west as we head into our evening. So for this evening, Mike, temperatures will continue to slip, but not too much more. We'll be in the 20s by bedtime tonight. Winds will be generally from the west at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Now, later in the week, there will be some changes that are typical of this time of the year. A first alert weather day has been declared by us for Friday. We'll tell you why here in just a few moments.
All right. Thanks. It's a day that continues to live in infamy. Here's a live look of the Fargo AmVets, where a flag retirement ceremony is underway at this hour on this Pearl Harbor Day. It was back on December 7th, 1941. Hundreds of Japanese bombers attacking the Pearl Harbor Naval Shipyard. 21 ships of the Pacific Fleet were sunk and damaged, including the USS Arizona, which lost more than 1,100 crewmen. More than 2,400 Americans were killed in this attack, and some 1,100 more were wounded. The attack drew the United States into World War II. Police have identified the man found dead at a Grand Forks hotel over the weekend. He's 55-year-old Jeffrey Shulzitsky. And investigators say his injuries appear to have come from homicidal violence. They say the incident was not random. There's no danger to the public. But if you do have any information, call Grand Forks Police at the number on the bottom of your screen. Fire officials say it could be weeks before we find out what caused a weekend blaze that burned for hours. It happened at a former furniture restoration business at 1420 First Avenue North in Fargo. That fire turned into a 3-alarm blaze, which required assistance from West Fargo and Moorhead fire departments. A former personal trainer has been sentenced to a year of probation after pleading guilty to sexually assaulting women under the guise of a research study. David Saylor's sexual assault charges were changed to disorderly conduct. Court documents say it happened while he was working at Edge Fitness in Fargo. Authorities say he told his victims that they were participating in a study touching himself in front of one client and at one point locking himself in a closet with another and massaging her. Sadler was charged with similar crimes out of Clay County, where he's currently serving a 4-month jail sentence. NDSU administration met with members of the local Black Lives Matter group today. This follows protests on campus Friday and Saturday over a racist Snapchat group involving NDSU students. The group's asking school leaders to change their hate speech policy to include more serious punishment for violators. They also say an offense should appear on the student's record. And they want more resources like counseling for students of color and more representation of minorities in NDSU leadership.
The administration could have decided to take more stern action on these children. They could have suspended them, expelled them, or taken academic probation. Me and some of the other black leaders in the room felt, if perhaps it wasn't an all-white administration or an all-white group of individuals trying to affect change on campus, perhaps something more could have been done and we would have never had to be in that meeting in the first place.
Sewell goes on to say that they need more than words, they need action. They hope to meet with the administration again later this week. Minnesotans exposed to COVID-19 can shorten their quarantine period from 14 days to 10 or 7 days in some cases. The health department releasing new guidelines today to match the CDC's that allow 10-day quarantines in some cases. 10-day quarantines are now recommended if the person has not tested positive, has no symptoms and will continue to track symptoms, wears a mask and socially distances. 7-day quarantines are now recommended if the person meets all of the conditions of the 10-day quarantine and tests negative for COVID-19 using a PCR test at least 5 days after the start of the quarantine period. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz says he's worried that the new guidance will be confusing, but said the state will work hard to explain it to people.
The goal of changing this is really to get increased compliance. But what I worry about is when people hear something, they get solidified in, and then if anything changes past that, that's then used as a reason to not believe it. So that's why I started out with saying the science has not changed around this. We're changing some of this for social compliance reasons.
The governor also says that he hopes the people would continue to quarantine for the full 14 days if they're able to do so. More than 1,700 Minnesotans were able to secure housing during the pandemic thanks to a new Medicaid benefit. Minnesota is the first state in the nation to offer housing stabilization services as part of its basic Medicaid program. These services are available to people with disabilities and older adults who are most likely to experience homelessness. The state launched the benefit in July. There's a new program that can provide financial assistance to first responders and frontline healthcare workers. The application window for this opens on Wednesday at 10 in the morning. It'll close December 20th at 5 in the afternoon. Eligible applicants may qualify to receive up to $5,000 for COVID-19 related expenses. You can find more information by going to our website at valleynewslive.com. Later on Valley News Live at 6, a new tool that will shed some light on how soon you'll be able to get a vaccine shot for COVID-19.
And we had another gorgeous setting sun captured, this time by our Home of Economy camera in Devil's Lake. Look at the colors exploding in the skies on this day where we saw 40s in Fargo and in Grand Forks as well. Not far from a record in Grand Forks. Coming up, changes are in store. Details next.